Welcome to Fast Track Gains. I'm here to help you accelerate your gains. This is the second episode of my third series, cardio training. So in my last video, I mentioned the importance of cardiovascular fitness and how to assess your own cardiovascular fitness. This video is all about choosing the right intensity for your cardio training. And the title of this video is 10,000 steps a day is never enough. What? You're joking, right? Isn't 10,000 steps a day the default recommendation from so many fitness professionals and particularly you bodybuilders? Well, first, I'm not joking. I'm a serious man presenting serious fitness education material here, and I hope you have already realized this point so far. And second, another more important point I hope you can realize is that just because it is the default recommendation for everyone else does not mean that it is the best way for you. You should always evaluate the default recommendation with your own analysis. And I'm here using my own analysis to challenge this popular default recommendation. But before I become a loose cannon, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. It takes less than a second, costs you absolutely nothing, and will help me a great deal in delivering the most efficient muscle building knowledge to the whole world. I really appreciate your support. Now, back to my video. Why is 10,000 steps a day never enough? For anyone familiar with training principles, you must have heard of this principle, progressive overload. And Coach Greg probably gives the best illustration of progressive overload on the whole internet. Harder than last time.
We do something called train harder than last time. What is the scientific way to say train harder than last time? Progressive overload.
On a serious note, progressive overload is the second most important training principle, only after the most important one, specificity. In order to continuously improve yourself, your training has to be hard, and it has to get harder over time. Off the topic, if you are really interested in understanding all the scientific training principles in detail, they're in order: specificity, progressive overload, fatigue management, SRA, or otherwise known as stimulus recovery adaptation, variation, potentiation, and individualization. 7 principles. Then please check out the whole series of training principles on Renaissance periodization presented by Dr. Mike Israetel. It is one of the best lectures I can find on the whole internet. Now, back to progressive overload. A very simple example. If you want to grow your biceps, you may start curling with only 5 kilo dumbbells. And over time, you are able to curl with 20 kilos or even 30 kilos of dumbbells. And by then, keep curling 5 kilos of dumbbell will not help you grow your biceps anymore because the weight is just not challenging enough to the muscle anymore. Very easy to understand, right? However, this seemingly easy to understand principle has been selectively ignored in cardiovascular training. People seem to forget that the heart is like any other muscle in your body. It can get stronger, and it definitely makes sense to me that you should make your heart stronger first. But for it to get stronger, progressive overload has to be applied. And for anyone that is even just moderately fit, 10,000 steps a day is just not challenging enough for your heart to improve. It definitely can burn some calories, but don't expect that simply by doing 10,000 steps a day, you can improve your cardiovascular fitness. That's why, in my eyes, 10,000 steps a day is never enough for the super majority of people. I wouldn't even consider it as part of the training program if I'm being honest. You really need something much more serious than just simply walking. If 10,000 steps a day is too low intensity for any real cardiovascular fitness improvement, then high intensity interval training must be the other side of the coin. In essence, high intensity interval training is like the equivalent of 1 rep max in weight training. It certainly has its position of importance in the training program, but it's never meant to be the bulk of your training volume. Even powerlifters who chase 1 rep max would still train at 50% to 80% of their 1 rep max for the bulk of their training program. And just like powerlifters who would only peak a few times in a year, you should only use high intensity interval training sparingly as a means to increase the peak of your cardiovascular fitness if you're a high performance professional athlete. But here's the harsh truth. Most people simply lack the ability to do real HIIT. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's the real definition of high intensity interval training. For the intense bouts of high intensity interval training, you should shoot for your heart rate anywhere between 80% max to 95% max. This is spaced with short periods of rest, because high intensity interval training is so intense that it should not last any longer than 20 to 30 minutes. Whereas in reality, apart from high performance professional athletes, most people simply lack the ability to raise the heart rate to 95% max or even 80% max. And their so-called high-intensity interval training would last 45 to 60 minutes. And that is not true high-intensity interval training by any stretch of imagination. And to add insult to injury, contrary to the popular belief, although high-intensity interval training does offer a lot of unique benefits that other cardio exercises cannot, burning more calories is not one of them. I say it one more time. Burning more calories is not one of them. The boring, not so sexy, steady-state cardio will burn more calories than high-intensity interval training in 1 hour, as you don't have to rest at all. Whereas in high-intensity interval training, you are forced to rest to recover. And some might even argue that the so-called EPOC, or the afterburn effect of high-intensity interval training is significantly higher than the steady-state cardio. In reality, the difference is far away from making it even. And on top of that, high-intensity interval training will seriously increase your risk of injury and impact your weight training ability. Just think about the classic example of 10 rounds of sprint and rest. Not only will it put your knees, ankles, and hamstrings at tremendous risk, but also there's no way you can do any sort of serious weight training after 10 rounds of sprint and rest. So, just like 1 rep max is reserved for powerlifters and not a good tool to build muscle for normal people, high-intensity interval training is reserved for elite athletes seeking peak performance improvement, and not a good tool for normal people to improve their cardiovascular fitness. Between the overhyped HIIT and the too low intensity of 10,000 steps a day is the missing intensity, medium intensity steady state, also known as MISS. Pardon the pun, but the truth is, this vast array of medium intensity steady state used to be missing in the discussion of cardio training because it is boring and not so easy. More boring than high-intensity interval training due to its steady state and longer duration nature. Yet you still have to dedicate yourself to it, instead of mindlessly dispensing with it like 10,000 steps a day. So, naturally, like any other boring and not so easy daily tasks that everybody tries to escape from, the medium intensity steady state was never the golden boy of cardio training. Fortunately, thanks to the work done by people like Peter Attia and Coach Greg again, the importance of medium intensity steady state, in particular the so-called Zone 2 cardio training, which is a big part of the myth, has gained more and more attention in recent years. The definition of medium intensity steady state is exercising intensity at 50% to 80% of your maximum heart rate. Within this intensity range, you start to build the foundation of your cardiovascular fitness pyramid, and most importantly, you are at the highest efficiency of sustainably burning calories. Unlike high-intensity interval training, which will force you to rest for the most part of your training duration and significantly reduce your calorie burn, or low-intensity steady state, which you can do it for a long time, but the efficiency is too low. Medium-intensity steady state puts you at the highest efficiency of sustainably burning your calories. So, just like any other boring and not so easy daily tasks that prove to be the key to countless success again and again, if you want to improve your cardiovascular fitness and lose more body fat, the key is to do more medium intensity steady state cardio. And the classic examples are all the cardio machines you can see in a commercial gym. Bikes, rowing machines, ellipticals, etc. Commercial gyms don't just put these cardio machines there for no reason. They are the best training equipment for medium intensity steady state cardio training. Alright, so now you know the correct cardio training intensity you should be doing. The next question will be the training volume. How much cardio should I do every week? And that will be the topic of the next episode. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.